If you have someone you know in the medical community, then you must have been privy to their allegations on certified doctors. Even people at the lower rungs of the profession claim that doctors are paid hefty sums to prescribe a medicine. Hi and welcome to TFI English, the national socio-political analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Piyush, and if you are watching us on Facebook, give our page a like, and if you're watching us on YouTube, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Going back to the story, in this video I'm here to tell you about the rabbit hole that is pharma industry. Let's begin. Dolo, one of the hot favorites of Indians, is somehow crushing the goodwill built around the brand. The Central Board of Direct Taxes has alleged that makers of Dolo 650 tablets used fraudulent means to sell their products. Apparently, bribes worth 1,000 crores were put into doctors' purses to recommend it. The bribes were sent in cash as well as in form of travel expenses, prerequisites and gifts to doctors and medical professionals. Doctors seems to have repaid Microlabs Limited, the manufacturer of Dolo, in full. Dolo, whose annual sale was 7.5 crore strips before COVID, jumped to 9.4 crore strips in 2020. In 2021, it further jumped to 14.5 crore strips. One strip comprises 15 tablets. All in all, Dolo sold 358 crore tablets during the pandemic. Even the top brass of the judiciary is well aware of Dolo's prevalence. When Justice D.Y. Chandrachud was made aware of bribing phenomenon, he responded, "This is not music to ears. Even I was asked to have the same medicine when I had COVID. This is a serious matter." But is Dolo the only company which has been alleged of unfair market practices? The answer is no. In terms of volume, India's pharmaceutical industry is the third largest in the world. In terms of value, it comes at 14th position. Additionally, the country has 3,000 drug companies and more than 10,500 manufacturing units. It is amply clear that the market is big and so is the competition. Even the government is aware of these unfair practices. In fact, data sets of companies engaged in these activities are also available with the regulatory agencies. In 2019, Banjot Kaur, a health reporter who has worked at Times of India, filed 4 RTIs. In the reply she got, the Department of Pharmaceuticals had provided her with name of 20 companies involved in bribing the doctors for prescribing the medicines. Not only doctors but even medical shopkeepers and unauthorized doctors were bribed for the same. These companies include giants like Glenmark Pharmaceuticals Limited, Abbott Healthcare Private Limited, Lupin Limited. Other companies are Eris Life Sciences Private Limited, Merck Limited, Bayer Healthcare, MSD Pharmaceuticals Private Limited, Cryobanks International India Private Limited, Sanofi India Limited, Sun Pharmaceutical Industries, Lifestyle International Private Limited, USV Private Limited, Torrent Pharma, Codeline Sciences India Private Limited, Intas Pharmaceuticals Limited, eMeditech Services Limited, Bristol Myers Squibb India Private Limited, and others. You want to know what could be done to these companies? The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare had no jurisdiction to control these companies. These companies were part of associations of pharma companies, and the only action they could take was to remove them from the associations. The current government has issued a code called the Uniform Code of Pharmaceutical Marketing Practices, also known as UCPMP. It bars pharmaceutical companies, medical representatives, agents of pharmaceutical companies such as distributors, wholesalers, retailers, and pharmaceutical manufacturers association from engaging in such practices. Remarkably, in spite of rampant allegations, it is voluntary and agents of the medical economy are free to skip it. There have been demands to make it mandatory, but to no avail. Contrary to that, regulations are relatively tighter for doctors involved in such practices, but not so tight to stop them from doing so. Under the Indian Medical Council Professional Conduct, Etiquette and Ethics Regulations of 2002, the license of any such doctor can be cancelled. So we have a peculiar situation in hand. Doctors can be punished for accepting bribes, and they should be. But companies offering bribes go virtually scot-free. It is astounding considering the fact that estimates have suggested that bribes worth 4,000 crores are paid every year. On the face of it, one can argue that companies are provided with leeway to establish their base in India. But that leeway is costing time, money, and sometimes life for the patients. Opportunity cost is too much to ignore. By 2030, the annual turnover of our pharmaceutical market is expected to triple. If Modi government does not wake up now, it would be too late.